Hi, my name is Christine Alberg, and I am making my recording for the back to school night. So, this will be going to my students and their parents. So, I have a list of things that I want to cover with you guys to make sure that you guys feel that you have all the information that you need to have a successful year. So, first is Blooms, and I talked to a lot of parents about this. Blooms is my communication tool. So, some teachers have used Class Dojo or Remind, and a lot of you are familiar with that. I've chosen to use Blooms this year because it has more online components. So for scheduling or like parent teacher conferences, that can be done 100% online, but I need parents to join. That's really important. I send information to parents daily, and it comes to you like a text, or if you get the app, you'll be able to get all the information that you need on the app. So Blooms is going to be really important. Communication is going to be so important. So I'm mentioning it first because for me, that's the most important. One of those things that I send to parents daily, or the reason why you hear from me daily, is because I will send the agenda to parents the day before so that you guys can look it over and know what your following day is going to look like. I also have two students in elementary school right now, my own two children, and I know that managing those schedules can be daunting. And so it was, in my mind, going to be helpful if you guys know what the schedule is going to look like even the day before, so that you can kind of wrap your head around that. And my schedule is pretty consistent. It's the same, really, as far as when you're going to log on and when you're going to see me, so you can make some kind of a routine in your life, but also just knowing exactly what to do. So I know at this time I'm going to have to go to Google Classroom and work on an assignment. So I just think it's helpful, but I am so open to any kind of feedback. And if there's something that you guys think that will help you more, please let me know. Also, it's posted, my agenda that I send out is posted on the Google Classroom. So you can always ask your student, log on to your homeroom Google Classroom and let me see your agenda. So that's also an option. Contact information. Blooms is my preferred method of contact because it comes straight to my phone, and it's basically like text messaging. So I know that's the most convenient for parents, and I get the message right away because it pops up. So I want to be able to respond to you guys as quickly as possible. But you guys are also welcome to email me. I have two work email addresses. The district email address is C Alberg. My last name is Alberg. So C Alberg at lodiusd.net. Or you can email me through Google, my work Google account, which is C Alberg at lodiusd.org. I tell parents to email my .net and students my .org. It's not that it really matters. You can email me in either one. It's just for students. If you go to their Drive and you click on all of their applications in their Drive through Google, the Gmail is right there. And when you start typing my name in, it automatically pops up as calberg at lodiusd.org. So it's just really easy for students. Attendance. Attendance is required, and I have to check at 8:15 who was here. I do allow some wiggle room. I know that technology is not always the most stable, so I give students till about 8:20 to log on, and if they are not logged on, I have to mark them absent. If they end up coming, maybe they weren't able to come at 8:15, but they come at math a little bit later, then I will go back and mark them as tardy. But there still is like the greater than 30 minutes tardy and the standard 15-minute tardy. So those things apply. So if you get a notification from the school that says that your student was marked absent, it's because I did not see them on the Zoom. They did not come for the lessons. It is important that the students do come to the Zooms. I am trying to teach instruction like we would in the classroom. Of course, not all day, because I don't think that that's sustainable. And I understand that it's not ideal to have a student at a computer screen all day. but it is important that they do get instruction. So I am having regular lessons, and we are going through the math and solving problems together via Zoom. So coming is important. Just going to Google Classroom and looking at the assignments isn't enough. They will be missing out on the instruction if they don't come to the Zoom. So I do need students to come. I do ask that students keep their cameras on. If you have a situation where I understand that if the camera is on, it uses more data and it's harder on the internet, and it sometimes is unstable for certain households or families. If that is the case, I need a parent to reach out to me and have a conversation with me so I know to expect that particular student to not have a camera on from time to time or regularly. Otherwise, if I do not have that conversation with a parent, I want my students' cameras on. And it's for lots of reasons. It's because I know that you guys are relying on me to be teaching them. And if I can see them, I know that they are there and present and a part of the learning experience. And so there's an accountability piece there. But also as a teacher, I'm still asking for feedback. I'll tell them, to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down or nod, or I like to see their faces, and students kind of give away whether or not they understand something. I can see confusion on their face, or I can see excitement on their face. And so that's still, those cues are important for me as a teacher, and I still rely on seeing those to help guide my instruction. So for those reasons, I do want to have their cameras on. It's also a safety thing. I know that it is a child behind the screen who is supposed to be in my virtual classroom and nobody else. Dress code. I still am going to enforce the school dress code. We are all together. There's, 20 plus, 25 students all online, and they can all see each other. So you need to be dressed appropriately for school. I would ask that students not wear pajamas and things that you wouldn't normally wear at school. I think that's important for mindset. If you get up and you get ready and you get dressed for the day, I think it helps create a mindset that prepares them for a day of learning. And so for that reason, I have put, it's also in my daily agenda that I send out. That's one of the things that I ask students to do. Be ready by 8:15, and be ready means be dressed. If you're going to do your hair, have that done, brush your teeth, eat your breakfast. I don't want students logging on at 8:15 and eating and kind of having a lax attitude about it. And for me, that is mindset. And it's also somewhat distracting to other students. So, I'm just trying to be very transparent for the reasons why this is all really new to everybody. And so in trying to wrap my head around what works best is trying to create a digital atmosphere that is the most conducive for learning. So for me, that was a way that would create that mindset that we are here to learn. Expectations. This is new for all of us. It's new for parents, students, and teachers. So my thought process is hard on learning, soft on students. So hard on learning means that I'm not just going to post links for kids to just do activities and leave it at that. We're coming to school, we're logging on, and we are going to learn. We are going to learn new concepts, 6th grade standards, just like we normally would in the classroom. I want to prepare my students for 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, beyond. And a part of that is making sure that they have a successful 6th grade year. So for me, I'm going to be hard on the learning, soft on students though. I understand that this is not an ideal circumstance. I understand that there's going to be some technical challenges from time to time, just misunderstandings. We're human. I just get that this is going to be a time where I'm going to need to be understanding of some of those challenges. And that is why I feel hard on learning, soft on students. So if you need me to assist you in some way, or something happens and you know that they can't be home for that day and they're going to be somewhere without Wi-Fi and they aren't going to be around, contact the office, make sure that they know they can get, it's just like normal school day when you call and say they're not going to be here, but also be in communication with me. I will do my best to make accommodations as needed, and I will be understanding during these times. Reading. I want to talk about reading. So we have agreed as a school site to not have homework. And I agree that this is not the year to be piling on more work after a school day of distance learning. I think for my students' mental health and for parents' mental health, it's important that I think you guys clock out at 3:00. I think you guys need to be done for the day and enjoy time with your family and give your eyes a break from the screen and just go outside, or even if it's just watch TV, but just being able to kind of clock out mentally for you guys, I think is important. So we are not assigning additional homework. I do tell my students, if you don't get something done that I assigned during the day, maybe you guys had to go run errands, you guys are at home and you guys are human. And I totally understand that you might have to stop what you're doing and go run an errand or go to a doctor's appointment, and they weren't able to get something done during that school day. Then they would need to do that in the afternoon. I would like them to turn those assignments in, but I'm not assigning anything additional on top of it as homework. The only thing that I ask my students to do is to stay on top of reading. I think reading is just really important for continued growth of learning. Reading is how we expand our knowledge and vocabulary. And, you guys understand, if you are with Lodi Unified and have been here, Lexile, right? We still want them to be prepared for 7th grade in terms of a Lexile. So reading is really important to do that. I understand that library access is a challenge right now. I believe the Lodi Public Library is allowing you to check out books and then get them through a drive-through. So that is an option. I also have some resources from the district. I have them on my website, which I'll talk about in a little bit. If students go to their Clever app, there's also an app called MyOn, and that has some reading available. I'm going to be honest, MyOn is a limited library, and it may not have resources that your students are super excited about. And I just want to be super transparent because it's new and it's being developed, and we've had it for a year and a half. So I would expect in the future, maybe it has a more extensive library, but for the time being, I want to throw out there Libby, Libby. This is not a district thing. This is a me thing. I don't assign it to my students. This is something that I use in my personal, I have it on my phone. It's on my tablet. It's an app. And all you need is a public library code. So if you have a public library card, your ID, that's all you need. So I have the Libby app, and I use my Lodi Public Library card to log in, and it lets me borrow books digitally. So you can either get them directly to your phone, a tablet, a Kindle. You can download ebooks to your Kindle or audiobooks. And I don't think there's anything wrong with listening to an audiobook, even for kids. Your brain is still having to navigate the language. It's still following character and story development and plot. And I think that that's a great alternative, especially if you guys are maybe going for walks in the evenings or doing something where they can't sit and actually read a book, or you don't have access to an actual physical book. Check Libby out. I'm not requiring it. I'm just throwing that out there because I know parents are like, what can I do? What resources are out there? And this is one that I think is golden. So that's also on my webpage. So we'll talk about that. My webpage has the information you will need for my class, because I don't want to talk for too long, but like the schedule and the district calendar and, my grading policy and anything that you might need for my class will be on my webpage. And then if you save that to your favorites, you can always log in and check out what's new, or I forgot what she had said about this policy or what she uses. And then you can look at my webpage. Woodbridge also has a webpage that is new during this distance learning time in our lives, because the previous web page is full of information that no longer applies, and there's so many changes and things that you guys need to know as families. So included in this presentation, the slides down below, you'll find all that kind of information, and I'll provide the links to my webpage and the district webpage. Check them out, bookmark them on your phone, and keep up on the information. As we find information, we put it on those pages, and then that way you guys have access to it. Lunch. I want to make sure that families understand that you guys as Woodbridge Elementary families have access to free breakfast and lunch. The distribution days are Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. Our site is open as a distribution site from 10:30 to 1 o'clock, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, but our school site has a lunch break from 11:45 to 1. So teachers, including myself, are still doing lessons up until 11:45. So, but you will have from 11:45 to 1 on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to come to school and get your lunch. You should have gotten in the mail a card that looks like this, and you will need to bring that to get your lunches and breakfast for the next day and lunch for the next day, since it's every other day. But that is available. If you have any further questions about that, please make sure you reach out. If you have any help, or if you did not get your card though, still come. You will see Miss Maria here, and just give her your name, and she will make sure that you get the resources that you need. Grading. I am going to be mindful of grading. Normally I think I'm actually a little on the strict side when it comes to grading. I am going to ease up on how strict I am and how often I am grading assignments during distance learning. Normally there is grading for work daily for all the assignments, and I don't want to put additional pressure on parents or students right now. So I'm going to be more selective about the things that I grade and giving students enough time to finish those assignments. I am going to ask that students only have 2 late assignments per quarter. After that, I won't accept late. And the reason is because I am going to be softer on giving students enough time and the items that I do grade. I want to make sure that they are still being held to a standard and still preparing themselves for 7th grade, and knowing that I am being somewhat softer. So I still have to make sure that you are taking it seriously and getting these things done. And it's really hard to manage the late assignments online as well. If your student has to turn something in late, they have to tell me. Google Classroom doesn't give me a notification when something is turned in late when I grade something and it's just not there, and I put that in Aries and the grading is done. There's no way for me to know to go back in and check past assignments. Like, there's no notification. And obviously I'm not going to go in and just check every assignment from the whole quarter every day just in case. That wouldn't be an efficient use of my time. So you just have to communicate with me. Say, my student or your student can communicate with me. Hey, I didn't realize that I didn't turn that assignment in, or I didn't have time. I turned it in. Can you check it for me? And then I know to go back in. We talked about no homework. So no homework, nothing on top of that. Just make sure that your child is reading. That's what I ask. August 17th, so this is a final thing, we are going to have our question and answer. So after you watch this, hopefully I've addressed everything that you need to know, but I understand that there might be other questions or you want some elaboration on some things. You will be able to log in August 17th, that is Monday, from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. So I'm going to have my Zoom open, and you can pop in, ask your child for the Zoom information if you don't have it yourself, and make sure that you have, I'm not posting it because this is going to be public. So that's why I'm not giving the Zoom information right here. So ask your child or email me or call the school. But I'm not posting it because I want to keep that Zoom ID and password private just for my students, to make sure that when we log on during the day that only my students come. But you will be able to log on and ask me any questions, and I will be able to help you. And I hope this was helpful. I'm so sorry that it was 20 minutes, but I wanted to make sure that I addressed everything and that I was able to answer any of the curiosities that you still had. So I will leave it at that. And then if you need me, please reach out. And for anybody that has questions still, I will see you August 17th.